Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I just found out that my ex-boyfriend Ray cheated on me. I drove 3 hours round trip to meet someone I suspected he cheated on me with, and it turns out I was right. Things were even crazier than I imagined. Good news, I'm done agonizing over feelings of wanting to get back with him. He's complete garbage, and I was wasting my true, pure feelings on him for 3 years. I guess he did get the last laugh. But before I dive into all the insane details, let me take it from the top. After Ray and I broke up, I saw that he changed his Instagram profile pic the next day. Before it was a photo of him at the climbing gym that I took. Now it was a close-up of his face. I wondered what this meant. Did it mean he was ready for a new start? Was he signaling that he was over me? Was he trying to get my attention? Either way, I continued to check his Instagram religiously. A few days in, I saw that he started following a few more people, and one account followed him back. I had screenshotted his Instagram page every day, so I knew exactly when these numbers went up. After some quick Googling, I found a Google extension that would list out the accounts he followed and that followed him in chronological order. I quickly learned that the new accounts were mostly celebrities, but one of them was a gay guy with a private account. This was probably a hookup. But what shocked me even more was that he had followed 4 other local gay accounts while we were still together. How do I know this? When we broke up 4 months ago, he blocked me on Instagram, both of my Instagram accounts. When we got back together, I followed him again on both. The local gay accounts he added were after we had gotten back together, but before we broke up. Now, that wouldn't be a problem for a normal gay guy, even a coupled one. I mean, gays network and have gay friends, right? But no. Ray always maintained that he had no gay friends. He didn't talk to any gays, and he did not seek them out. He was bi and only out to his straight best friend. So I knew something was off. I looked into these accounts some more, and a few were private, meaning that he probably would have had to meet them on apps to even get their contact. The only other possibility would be if Instagram recommended these accounts to him. But that doesn't seem right. Why would he outright follow them, especially if they're private? One of these guys was somebody I had actually gotten a blowjob from years before I met Ray. I had almost forgotten about him, but I knew he was my lead for this investigation. I was in the middle of some travels, but as soon as I got back home, I added him on Instagram and sent a DM. Let's call this guy Dennis. Dennis was someone I used to see all over the apps. Grindr, Jacked, Hinge, you name it. He always used his face for his profiles too. His Instagram was a bit cluttered with religious posts. He was very unexpectedly Christian, but I knew I had an edge, sharing that I was Christian too, if push came to shove. Well, push came to shove. At first, he was slow to reply, and it seemed like he wouldn't be willing to meet. But maybe he was just busy? Eventually, he was a bit more responsive, and agreed to grab boba with me. He was an hour and a half out of town, but I offered to drive to his area. He made it very clear that it would just be platonic because he was talking to someone already, and I assured him that it would be nothing more than that. He pressed me on why I was insisting to meet, saying that it must be something important. I agreed and said that I came across his profile, realized we had met before, had quite a bit in common, and were both Christian. That got him excited to talk about Christian stuff, and by then, I knew it was a done deal. Today, I drove out to him. And after settling down with our boba drinks, he asked me if my question was about Ray. I was shocked. How did you know? I asked. I had a feeling, he said. Wow, based on what? He pointed to the sky, hinting that God had something to do with it. Eventually, it turned out that the guy he had been talking to actually was Ray. I was joking with myself just a day ago thinking, haha, what if he's actually seeing Ray right now? I was in shock. He said, yeah, I was just texting him, and showed me his phone. Just as his screen came into view, I saw a notification from Ray flash at the top. It was fucking surreal. At first, he was very dodgy about when they first met, relying on amnesia to avoid the answer. I pressed the question and said that this clarity would give me peace and closure. The Good Samaritan in him prompted him to dig back even deeper into his DMs to reveal that they had actually hooked up and started talking 3 weeks before my breakup with Ray. 3 weeks? I was in disbelief. But he showed me the DMs. Ray was the first to message him saying, "Hey, cutie." Dennis responded, "Hey, handsome." Fucking disgusting. I hid all these feelings, of course, acting normal and very interested in learning more. He shared that they traded blowjobs the first day, and a few days later they did the same and kissed. They met twice a week, including 3 or 4 beach dates in total, and they had been texting regularly. In addition to disgust, I was actually very happy to learn all this, and to see those dated DMs with my own eyes. For weeks I had been in pain, thinking over the possibilities of being with Ray again, trapping myself in an internal war between loving him so much, yet feeling like a relationship would never work. Now I was freed from it all. Thank you, Dennis. Really. I am completely done with Ray now. The only thing left for me is to process how fucking naive I was. How I wasted so much time on this piece of garbage. I know people always call their exes garbage, but I never called Ray that. Not until now. Now I know that he cheated, that he truly is despicable, irredeemable garbaggio. But this wasn't just a regular everyday cheat. There's a reason that Ray's cheating is so particularly evil. Ray's whole dark past that he shared so early on was that his previous ex-girlfriend of 3 years cheated on him. They broke up, got back together, then broke up again. At the end, she begged him to take her back. He said no, and she jumped off a building. He was there when she jumped, when the ambulance came, and when she was pronounced dead. He went to Tiffany's to buy back the engagement ring that he had previously told her to return when she had proposed to him. The whole time we were together, he asked me to tell him if I ever wanted to see other people, and that we'd be over if I ever cheated. He would be possessive over when I was doing something that he didn't know in advance, so I started sending him all of my plans early on because of that. It made me think that this was a guy who would never cheat. I mean, his biggest life trauma came from him being cheated on. He truly has no integrity or morality. His only internal compass is what makes him feel good, regardless of if it hurts others. Sure, maybe he did love me once and devote himself to me, but any past devotion and love was completely soiled when he hooked up with Dennis and possibly 3 or more guys while we were still together. I checked back to the first date he hooked up with Dennis, and he was even calling me his love and saying that he loved me very much over text. What a truly fucking awful person. And how foolish of me too. I always gave him the benefit of the doubt. I always trusted him. I always tried to see the good in him. What a waste of 3 great years of my life. From now on, I will trust my gut more. I won't settle for people who hide things, dodge questions, and don't communicate. I'm disappointed in people, but I'm also disappointed in myself. I can't blame him entirely for this. I accepted his red flags, his need for space, and his desire to let things go without delving deeper. But he absolutely deserves the blame for cheating on me. 100%. He deserves shame and shame again. He's a liar, cheater, and manipulator. I have hard facts now. Goodbye forever, Ray. You absolutely led me on and used me for your own needs. You truly only cared about yourself. You don't deserve to have a healthy relationship, and you won't. I can guarantee you that. Go fuck yourself. And if the next words from you aren't, "I'm sorry I cheated on you," I never want to hear a word from you again. I never want to see a text from you again. You know what? Even if you do apologize, I could never believe you again. But what about you guys? Have you ever unexpectedly discovered that your ex was cheating on you? Honestly, I never thought I would get cheated on in my life. I'm always so careful about this. Ray's whole story about his ex convinced me that he would never cheat. Anyways, I'd love to hear your stories too. I could really use them right now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss future ones. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.